Đây là chương trình tài chính của Đài Lương Sài Gòn TV. Chúng tôi là luật sư Tony Nguyễn CPA. Xin kính chào quý vị. Kính thưa quý vị, hôm nay chúng tôi rất vui mừng được chào đón ông Oliver Shin từ ngân hàng Open Bank, một ngân hàng của người đại Hàn ở tại Garden Grove, đến đây để nói chuyện với chúng ta về đề tài là SBA loan. Chúng tôi cũng biết là quý vị nhiều người đã biết sơ qua về cái SBA loan. Nhưng mà hôm nay ông Shin sẽ đến đây bàn với chúng ta về cái chi tiết làm sao để mà get to cái loan, làm việc với lại ngân hàng để mà xin cái loan, một trong hai cái loan mà ông ta sẽ bàn đến. Mr. Shin, welcome to our show. Would you like to have a word with the audience before we start?
Sure, absolutely. My name is Oliver Shin. I'm the Senior Vice President and Director of SBA Lending for Open Bank. And thank you so much for having me on the program. I look forward to kind of getting out there some information about SBA loans for the public.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, I just told the audience that a lot of everybody knows SBA, but can you go into like a little bit detail what it is, what branch of the government, how does the SBA work with the customers, and do I have to work with a bank or somebody else?
Sure. Yeah, so the SBA is the Small Business Administration. They are in charge of the SBA loan program. And now a lot of people do kind of assume that SBA loans are funded directly by the federal government. But in actuality, SBA does work with banks such as Open Bank to fund those loans on their behalf. So the money you'll be receiving would actually be from a traditional lender, whether it be Open Bank or any other bank down the street, who is connected with SBA, and they are processing those loans on their behalf. So the U.S. government does fund these loans, and the reason why they are so popular, especially from a lender's perspective and a borrower's perspective, from a lender's perspective, the SBA does guarantee these loans. They do provide from anywhere from 75% to 85% guarantee. So from the bank's perspective, they kind of share some of that risk that the bank would normally assume. And from the borrower's perspective, since the banks are taking on these loans with a lot lower risk, they are willing to generally give a little bit more favorable terms to the borrower when you compare to a conventional commercial loan that might have a little bit higher standard of qualification. Now with these SBA loans, they allow for a greater number of borrowers to qualify and allow for the banks to help small businesses in the community.
So most of the money comes from the bank, not from the U.S. government.
Correct, yes.
So
these are funded by
the U.S. government, the SBA will guarantee the loan.
Correct, yes. So they will cover about 75 to 85% of the total loan amount if something were to happen.
Yeah, so when you say it's easier to get, so you mean like they will lower the credit score to make it easier?
Yeah, so in some ways the banks will broaden their criteria for qualification. So normally, let's say for example, a conventional commercial loan, typically they would require maybe anywhere from 35% to 50% down payment. Whereas for an SBA loan, that threshold becomes much lower to kind of incorporate the risk that's being assumed by the federal government. So they may typically do loans with a down payment in the range more along the lines of 10 to 30%. So it gives a little bit more access, easier access to credit for the general public and small businesses. So that's the way the SBA kind of helps the community through these loans.
The term is almost like conventional loan, 25, 30, 20, 25 years?
Well, the benefit of SBA lending is that it is a fully amortized term. So for business loans, they typically grant a maximum of 10 years. Now that's 10 years fully amortized, so there's no balloon payment due at the end. And for anything involving real estate, they can go as far as 25 years. So 25-year fully amortized term.
So when you say like fully amortized for business loan, let's say like equipment loan financing, so it will be amortized over 30 years, but it's due in 10 years.
Yeah, so that's the more conventional commercial method where you do, payments are amortized over 25 years. However, after a period of about, depending on the term of your loan, whether it's 5 years or 7 years, at the end of that period, the loan would become due and you would need to either refinance or find a different option. So there are With the SBA loan, because it's fully amortized over the period, you do not have to worry about refinancing or renewing during the term. If you want to keep the terms as is, you can keep it for the life of the loan.
I see. And then most important, the nuts and bones of SBA loan. What is the rate structure? Like home loan, you have the I guess the long-term T-bill. But in SBA loan, what is the rate structure of how do you get the rate? Prime rate plus something or?
Yeah. So most SBA loans are tied to the Wall Street Journal prime rate. So anytime you hear when the Fed announces a rate change, that's usually kind of coincides with the change in the Wall Street Journal prime rate as well. So normal SBA lenders do peg the loan to the prime rate, and they may add an additional spread on top of that.
And then the use of the loan, there are like, you can use the, what can you use the funds for?
So, I will kind of get into the different loan programs,
Okay.
but generally for the 7A program,
Yeah.
it's a very flexible program where borrowers can use it for business working capital, they can use it for asset acquisition, you can use it to acquire a business, or you can even use it to acquire business property as well.
I see.
So
Okay.
there's very flexible uses of proceeds with the 7A program, and later on we'll kind of get into some of the specifics about the 504 loan program
Okay,
as
good.
well.
Let me translate briefly and
Sure.
then we'll go back. Kính thưa quý vị, ông Shin là một người phó giám đốc tại ngân hàng Open Bank. Hôm nay ông ta nói chuyện về đề tài SBA. Quý vị cũng biết là đề tài cái vấn đề loan SBA rồi, nhưng mà vấn đề cái chi tiết đó, kính thưa quý vị, là mình phải làm việc với một người ngân hàng mà mình có được cái sự giao dịch personal relationship, thì thường thường người ta hướng dẫn cho mình một cách dễ dàng hơn. Còn nếu quý vị mà bước vô chân trong một ngân hàng mà lớn thì thật sự mình dễ bị get lost. Ông ta có nói là thường cái SBA loan đó thì quý vị cũng biết là thường là mình nghe nói là SBA, nhưng thật sự là cái funds đó là từ ngân hàng tư, chỉ có chính phủ là guarantee cái loan thôi, và cái loan SBA loan thường đó là chính phủ cho vay là khoảng chừng 85% hoặc là 90%, và cái tiền lời đó thường là cái prime rate cộng với lại một cái spread. Cái quý vị cũng biết cái prime rate là cái mà rate mà chính phủ, tờ báo Wall Street Journal thường đăng ra, và thường thì tùy ngân hàng, có ngân hàng cộng cái spread nó lớn hơn, có ngân hàng cộng cái spread nó ít hơn. Cái đó là vấn đề mà tùy theo cái sự làm việc của quý vị với một người trong ngân hàng. Thank you. And then you say there are like a few types of SBA loans.
Yes, absolutely.
What are they?
So yeah, I'd like to, if I can bring up the slide here. So there are two primary types of SBA loans. One is the 7A loan program, and the other is the 504 loan program. Now, under the 7A loan program, there are a few subsets of loans. However, today we're kind of generally looking at the overall big picture of 7A loans. So as I mentioned before, 7A loans, they're very flexible. You can use it to buy a business, refinance debt, purchase equipment, or for working capital. So a lot of flexibility with the 7A program. Now the 504 program is a little more specialized. It's primarily used for purchasing equipment or other long-term fixed assets, and also for real estate as well.
So you just mentioned two kinds of loans, so the 7A and the 504. Before you explain more about those two loans, are there other kinds of loans besides 7A and 504 also? I mean, or those are the only two?
Well, these are the two most popular ones that so anytime a borrower is looking for financing, what we would do is we would try and identify the best program for them. And generally speaking, based on the types of requests that we get from borrowers, these two programs are the ones that fit the most for their needs.
Okay, the 7A and the 504.
Correct, yes.
So we'll take a break. When we come back, we need you to explain more in detail those two loans.
Sure,
Thank
absolutely.
you. Xin quý vị đừng giờ máy, chúng tôi sẽ trở lại với quý vị trong giây phút.